Try this right now. Put your phone face down and just sit there, alone, with your thoughts, for 2 full minutes. No music, no scrolling, just you and the inside of your own head. If that sounds unbearable, you're not broken. You're just living proof of something scientists have been quietly documenting for years. In 2014, a team of psychologists led by Timothy Wilson at the University of Virginia ran a study that sounds almost too strange to be real. They took ordinary people, students, adults, a wide range of ages, and asked them to sit alone in a bare room for between 6 and 15 minutes. No phone, no book, no task, just their own thoughts. Before the experiment, most participants predicted they'd find it mildly pleasant, maybe even relaxing. Afterward, most of them rated it as unpleasant. Some rated it as one of the least enjoyable things they'd done all week.
Then Wilson's team pushed further. In a later version of the same study, they gave participants the option to press a button that delivered a mild electric shock to themselves. The same shock they'd already said in an earlier part of the experiment they'd pay money to avoid. Given the choice between sitting quietly with their thoughts or shocking themselves, a quarter of the participants chose the shock. Not because they enjoyed pain, because doing nothing, thinking, was worse.
This is what researchers now call the aversion to mental stillness. And it's not a personality flaw. It's a measurable shift in how the human brain processes unstructured time. So what changed? Why would sitting with your own thoughts, something every human being on Earth did constantly for almost all of history, suddenly become something people would rather get shocked than just sitting still? Hey, but why is that? Why, you want to know? Okay, so I'm going to tell you. Listen.
The answer comes down to a skill, and like any skill, it can atrophy. Psychologists call it sustained internal attention, the ability to generate your own mental content without external input and stay with it. For most of human history, this wasn't optional. There was no alternative. Waiting for food to cook, walking long distances, lying awake at night, all of it forced the brain into long stretches of unfilled time. The brain adapted to that condition. It got good at entertaining itself because it had to. In 2023, a research team tracked the screen habits of more than 80,000 people and found that the average time someone could focus on a single screen before switching to something else had dropped from 2.5 minutes in 2004 to 47 seconds. That's not a measure of stupidity. It's a measure of an environment that no longer requires the skill of sitting still with a thought. Every app, every feed, every notification is built to interrupt you before boredom has a chance to set in. The moment your brain starts to drift toward unstructured thinking, something lights up to pull it back. Here's the part that makes this stranger. Boredom isn't just the absence of stimulation. It's an active state. And neuroscientists have found it does something specific. When the brain isn't focused on an external task, it shifts into what's called the default mode network, a set of regions that activate during daydreaming, memory consolidation, and self-reflection. This is the same network responsible for some of your most creative and integrative thinking, the kind that connects unrelated ideas, processes emotional experiences, and helps you figure out who you are and what you actually want. When you eliminate boredom, you don't just eliminate discomfort, you eliminate the conditions that network needs to switch on. A 2014 study by researchers at the University of Central Lancashire tested this directly. They gave one group of participants a boring task, copying numbers from a phone book, before asking them to come up with creative uses for a household object. A second group skipped the boring task entirely. The bored group generated more creative ideas and more original ones. Boredom wasn't slowing their minds down, it was warming them up. So here's what's actually happening. For your entire life, every spare moment, the bus stop, the waiting room, the line at the store,
used to be unfilled time your brain would default into reflection, daydreaming, idle problem solving. Now those moments are filled automatically, instantly, by a device in your pocket built by people who understand exactly how uncomfortable stillness feels and exactly how to interrupt it before it builds. You're not weak for reaching for your phone in a silent moment. You're responding to billions of dollars of design specifically engineered to make that reach feel necessary.
And the cost isn't just attention. Some researchers now believe declining tolerance for boredom is connected to documented drops in specific cognitive abilities, the capacity to sit with a hard problem instead of escaping toward an easier one, to follow a difficult thought all the way to its end instead of abandoning it for something simpler. The skill you're losing isn't just the ability to be still. It's the ability to think slowly, on purpose, without something else doing it for you.
So go back to the start of this video, the challenge to sit for 2 minutes with nothing. If that felt unbearable, that discomfort wasn't pointless. It was your brain registering just how unfamiliar unstructured time has become, how rarely you give it the conditions it once had by default. The silence isn't empty. It's where a part of your mind used to live, quietly, every single day, before something else learned exactly how to fill it first.